Welcome to the second day of doing your pinch pot frogs. Today we're going to add all the details like the tongue, eyes, nose, and any other little details that you might want to add. Feel free to be inspired by these frogs and your imagination as much as you want. Your first step is to very carefully and slowly take your frog's mouth out of the bag. Be careful not to accidentally squish it, and make sure that you save the bag because if you don't finish today, you're going to want to be able to put it back in there to keep it wet and workable. Your first step is to make the tongue, and you can just pinch a little bit in the middle of the bottom of the pinch pot for the mouth to raise it up and make it look a little bit like a tongue. If you want the tongue to stick out of the mouth, roll a little mini coil, and then we're going to use the 4 S's, scoring, slipping, sticking, and smoothing, to connect it on. Remember, if you don't use these 4 S's to connect a piece of clay, your clay will fall apart as it dries and when it goes in the kiln. So make sure that you're following all of the steps anytime you attach a new piece of clay. Look carefully to see how I'm smoothing the tongue out. You can't even tell that it was a separate piece of clay, and you can't see the fingerprints as much from where I pinched it. Now I'm making 2 little nose holes, and then I'm going to move on to the eyes. You'll roll 2 small balls. You can choose whatever size you want though, so your frog can have really big eyes if you want. And then we're also going to use the 4 S's again, scoring, slipping, sticking, and smoothing to connect the eyes to the top of your frog's mouth. Smoothing these can be a little bit tricky. In a minute, I'm going to start doing some smoothing with slip, and you'll see that I can't actually get all of the seams completely smoothed out, but if I use my clay tool and my fingers and a lot of slip, I can get it pretty close. Now it's time to add any other details that you want. Maybe you'd like to add a fly sitting on the frog's tongue, or maybe you'd like to add some feet or a bow or anything else. Feel free to get as imaginative and unusual as you want to. This doesn't have to be a realistic frog. This can be anything that you want. Make sure that you remember to carve your name into the back or the bottom of your frog so that we can find it again as it's drying. Here's my frog all finished. You can see how it's a complete sculpture, and when I go all the way around it, it's got both a front, back, and a top to look at. If you're not finished yet, remember to use your plastic bag and stick your frog carefully back in there. Make sure again that you fully close the bag and test it to make sure that there's not an accidental little part of it still open. Then gently place it on the board just like we did before. If you're all done with your project, you'll just put it on the board without the bag around it so that it can fully dry out. Then you'll put all of your clay tools back in the cup, and you'll start cleaning your table up just like we did before, using a little bit of water and a towel to wipe it off. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to click like and subscribe. Did all of this hard work make you as sleepy as Alfie is here?